What does this phrase, humanizing the antagonist, mean to you?
Now, earlier, what used to happen is there would just be He-Man versus Skeletor. His demand for a pound of flesh is cruel, but what has resulted in this cruelty?
What first drew you towards these morally complex characters and these three characters that you've chosen, so well chosen? Welcome to the Visible Studio, a podcast that brings together educators, artists, filmmakers, designers, and theatre practitioners, and also creative thinkers from around the world to make learning visible. We talk about the process, pedagogy, and practice. Through conversations around storytelling, inquiry, identity, ethics, and artistic practice, this platform explores how arts can help us engage with the complexities of the human experience. Today's episode explores a very powerful and timely question. What happens when educators move beyond simplistic barriers of heroes and villains in classrooms, films, literature, theatre, history, and media? Students are often exposed to narratives that divide people into good and bad, two sides of it. But what if educators intentionally create safe spaces to examine motivation, systems, trauma, power, empathy, and human contradictions? So today we have TC to present and talk about all of these things through his theatre classes.
Thank you so much, Debjani. It is such a pleasure being here. And more than anything else, I'm getting a chance to connect with you
And
after
we
quite
know
some
each other
time.
for 20 years. And I've seen so many of his theatre productions back then in Calcutta. So, yes, it's so great connecting back again.
And then it was an absolute sheer coincidence when we met without knowing that we'll be meeting each other in
In
the
the
school
same
where we
school,
taught.
yes, where we taught as colleagues, yes. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm really glad that you have started this initiative, that you're doing this. You're inviting facilitators to share their journey. And thank you so much for considering me. But as you know, that I'm quite an accidental teacher, if I am one, that is.
All of us
But
are,
performing arts.
secretly, all of us. Yes. But in a way,
So
I'm so
performing
happy to
arts.
be on this stage, like being a teacher, because we're always learning. And that's the best
Oh
part.
yes. Absolutely. I mean, like I keep telling that to myself, especially with the younger generation, the way that they are thinking, the freshness that they are bringing.
Yes.
And actually speaking, our language, I would consider theater and cinema to be our language today. It is no more just a subject, it is no more just entertainment, but it is a language. So,
Yes.
how does one communicate in this language? The young people are so fresh and extremely well equipped. So, it is actually a learning, it's more of a learning for me
Yeah.
rather than teaching.
And they've,
But
in
what
fact,
I do,
redefined these methods of communication, the newer ways of communication. And that I've seen
absolutely.
how you've got that into your stage and your production. So it will be amazing if you could walk us through this journey of working with
Sure.
your students from the process, from right from the beginning, developing the script or something, to finally being on stage. How does it feel like?
Definitely, I'll do that. Are you willing to participate in a very, very quick theater game?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, let's start. Let's start.
Very good. So I'll just say the words and I'll do some action and you repeat after that.
Okay.
And maybe some of your viewers who is going to watch this,
Yeah.
maybe they can also kind of, like use it. And then I'll tell you that, see, for any theater exercise, theater game, there
Mm.
is a pedagogical purpose.
Yeah.
There is a perspective. Maybe we can just incorporate it in our classrooms, right?
Perfect. It's
So
a great way to start. Yes, I'm all yours.
uh, good,
Okay.
good. Thank you. So let's do this. So you see my hand movement and you hear my words, and then let's just see that how these words and action will complement each other.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how it goes. It's bubbling. You repeat after me.
Okay. It's bubbling.
It's bubbling.
It's bubbling.
It's bubbling in my soul.
It's bubbling in my soul.
I'm singing.
I'm singing.
I'm shouting.
I'm shouting.
Since theater makes me whole.
And its theater makes me whole.
Folks
Folks
who don't understand,
who don't understand,
how can I keep them quiet?
how can I keep them quiet?
Is bubbling, 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 bubbling,
It's bubbling, 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 bubbling,
bubbling day and night.
bubbling day and night.
Awesome, very good. Now, I will not say the words, I only do the action. You say the words and you do the action.
But what if I forget? I can make it up?
Let's see whether how much we will be able to retain.
Okay, okay.
Okay, great.
Oh my God.
1, 2, 3.
It's bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. It's bubbling in my soul. The voice.
I'm singing.
Oh, I'm singing and shouting through my soul. Or
Theater makes me whole.
theater makes me whole. Or art makes me whole. Yes. That I forgot.
Folks
Folks
who don't understand,
who don't understand.
how can I keep
How
them
can
quiet?
I teach you to be quiet? Bubbling, bubbling, bubbling.
Day,
Day and night. Yes.
there you are.
Okay.
So you see, we did not need to memorize this. You
Yeah,
almost
there are
got
clues.
50% of this content.
Yeah.
Second time when I was just doing it with action.
Yeah. Yes.
So we are living in times when AI is taking over. Very soon, I feel education institutions, organizations, those education institutes that believe in behaving more like corporate bodies
Oh my
and not
God.
like
Yes. Yes.
entities,
Yeah.
very soon will start employing AI,
Yes.
and teachers may become redundant.
Hmm.
However, what is experiential learning, what we just did,
Yeah.
AI will never in its lifetime try to be able to achieve.
Yes. The human factor to it, or the experience
Absolutely.
of that.
Very much.
Yes.
So when you were synchronizing words and action, it became a human involvement. You know, it was an experiential learning.
Yes.
Second time round when we did it, you did not know about these words earlier. I have never shared these words with you.
And I'm terrible at memorizing. So, yes. But it had clues in the action and the movement.
It had become a part of your body memory.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
And even
this is
so,
a
more with practice, I would say, right?
yes,
Like
yes.
3 times down, it would be easy for any student.
Very much. I strongly believe so. So this is something that I'm trying to do in classrooms. That is teach subjects. And this is not with any organization or with any institute. This is something that I'm starting on my own. Teach mathematics, teach physics, teach any subject with theater.
That's so amazing. Okay. All the best for your initiative. And yeah, I'd be open to more exercises if you have for me as well as for the audience out there. That'd be really.
Yeah, there are many.
Yes.
But I guess, yeah, so I mean, like, if time permits, I will definitely share. In fact, with more people, I can do even online. You know, we do this zip zap Zoom games, and then we play Mafia, and these are certain things that I've been doing with audience across the globe.
And also, I feel that these exercises will be very helpful in the present times. Like I am presently in UAE, and for a very long time we were online because of the political turmoil here. And so connecting over students in the classroom online, it's really challenging. Like I have my entire setup made for art, like one camera on the table showing the demonstration, the another camera on me. So we teachers, we're trying really hard to get the students involved and actively participate during our online lessons. And I feel these theater activities, these small exercises, just to get this classroom started, just to get the energy going would be amazing. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. I agree with you. There is some sort of a presentation that I haven't placed, but you know the full form of TC?
Theatrecian.
No.
No?
Theatrecian is the name of my production house, which is very close to me. It's my It's a 25-year-old production house.
Yeah.
And yeah, full form of TC is technology challenged. So
Okay. Okay, I'm
at
here
every stage
for
of
you today on that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, at every stage of this
Yeah.
conversation, I will request you to please help me with the various technical aspects.
Okay,
So
sure.
there is something that I have in place that I'd like to share.
Yeah.
This reminds me in Pathways days, how much I used to bother you every now and then. So this is for the people who are going to watch this. So we were teaching in a particular school where film studies was my subject, but I'm really very kind of scared of technology. So every now and then I would just go to Debjani, and she had her own truckload of work. She had introduced design thinking in the school across all the schools. So we had a PYP, MYP, and DP, and not only for the students but also for the teachers.
Oh my
There
God.
was a
Yes.
lot of work pressure, and despite that, I was going on bothering her that I don't know how to do this, how to prepare my whatever, documents. Documentation is something that I've always been very scared of. And she's been an absolute sweetheart and helped me right through. So thank you, Debjani. I just had to kind of,
It
like
just
this.
brought back such lovely memories from that school. I really enjoyed, even though, yes, there was a lot of work and a busy school, but it was amazing. Yes.
So I'll just try doing that now. That is not bother you too much, but try to share this. So you see, this is the marginalized and the revenge. So basically, what I was wanting to share with the students is how sometimes certain figures that we come across in literature and in history, how when they are cornered, when they are marginalized, how they feel pressurized and their actions is read as revenge.
Yes.
So you tell me, like, shall I just go through this?
Yeah, sure. And I have a few questions at the end of it or during, while you're presenting. I'll ask you a few things. That's okay.
Awesome. Now you see, if you see these names that I have with me, Saddam Hussein, Shylock, and the Joker. Now, Shylock is a character that has been created years back.
Yeah.
And if you remember some of Shylock's words, many a times on the Rialto you spat on my face. Shylock is saying this to Antonio when Antonio is coming to Shylock and asking for help for his friend Bassanio. Now,
For
Shylock
kindness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Shylock for years, he has been ill-treated. He's been called a cutthroat dog. And obviously it is but obvious. Now I'm not trying to justify any act. I'm not trying to justify any mindset. But if I have to, as a literature student, try and understand from Shylock's point of view, then what is it that made Shylock ask for that pound of flesh?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this,
you're looking at humanizing these characters from a very neutral point of view.
Yes, I'm just trying to understand their perspective. Okay. So you see that students, if as an inquiry question, if a student is asked that are villains born evil or they are produced by humiliation, exclusion, and neglect? Now, are villains born evil? On today's times in Avengers, we have this character called Thanos. Like you'll be aware of Thanos.
Yes, yeah.
Now, Thanos' act is something very evil, right? With snap of his fingers, he can get 50% of the global population wiped. Yeah. But what makes him do that? What is his purpose? Why is he doing that? That is also something that a student needs to examine before passing a complete judgment on a character like Thanos. Now, that is something that I would like students to understand, engage in. And I won't even say a child needs to be neutral as such, but it is imperative to understand the cause of action for the actions. So here in this slide, I'm just trying to make some sort of a study between a real life figure, Saddam Hussein. We are aware of the Gulf War and Saddam Hussein's contribution and participation in the Gulf War. So understanding a historical character as a real character, understanding Shylock, a character from literature, and the Joker. I won't say pulp fiction, but definitely popular fiction. The villain in a Batman film. So here, first, just brief understanding of Saddam Hussein. Now, this is just something that I have gathered from my study, from my point of view, and what is the purpose of sharing this with the student. Now, here is someone who we know is born in rural poverty, and we are aware of his rise to power. How did he rise to power? What are the circumstances, the geographical, economical, social, political circumstances, situations that have together combined in his rise to power? His early struggles, the humiliation that he had to face as well. Inquiry question here. Can historical violence emerge from collective wounds? Now, this is something that has not been, it is not a work of imagination. Saddam Hussein, the character, the person, he's not a creation of somebody's imagination, a real life character that the student is aware of.
Yes.
Do you have any questions so far?
No, that's good.
Okay. Now, I'm making an attempt to understand Shylock, and later on you'll see how we'll be kind of, looking at all these three characters together and we'll see that, yes, whether there is any kind of commonality. Now, who is Shylock? Now, in Merchant of Venice, we get to see that Shylock is mocked, insulted, denied dignity because of identity. He's a Jew. And in those times, in the context that Shakespeare has referred, he's spat on because he's a moneylender. Now, what is a moneylender's job? And a moneylender is obviously going to lend money in expectation of a certain interest, So when Shylock has been doing that, how he is ridiculed, how he is marginalized, how has Venice ill-treated Shylock? Now, this is another sentence which a learner needs to kind of contemplate. His demand for a pound of flesh is cruel, but what has resulted in this cruelty? Why such cruelty? Why such venom? And it is not only against Antonio, but it is his way of making a statement.
Yes.
A statement that is coming to the surface because it is a statement being born from years of exclusion. Shylock has been excluded, ostracized from the community, completely marginalized. Now, here is a popular character. Here it is not, we are not staying confined to our classrooms anymore. Saddam Hussein, historical figure, we are learning Saddam in history. Shylock, a literature figure, literary figure, given to us by Shakespeare, we are studying Shylock in literature. Joker, a character created in popular fiction. The villain or the antagonist that we have in a Batman comic. Now, what is Joker's rise? What does Joker want? Here, I'd like us to just try and remember the scene that we have in The Dark Knight, which is by Christopher Nolan, where what is Joker, what is he doing with the wealth that he has accumulated? He burns that. That means we are not looking at a greedy person.
No, yeah.
We are not looking at somebody who's after that wealth. In Joker's mind, he is wanting equality. Now, what does Marxism teach us? And I'm not at all in support of Marxism as such, not that I'm against it. That is not this session what it's about.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to tell us that Joker, in his mind, he's wanting equality. He does not want the wealth of a nation in just few hands. The character represents how urban neglect and public cruelty can transform pain into spectacle. And when he says, why so serious? He's turning laughter into a weapon against society. Now, let us see that how I told you earlier that, we will also try to examine that what is the merging point of all these three characters. they show a similar trajectory here. We see humiliation, exclusion, rage, revenge. They are all denied belonging to a community, belonging to a particular space, belonging to a particular tribe. And when one is being cornered, when one is being marginalized, then there is a greater urge to seek power to make those suffer because of whom they have suffered. So suffering is resulting into power to make others suffer. Now, these are certain kind of, like once I've taken the students through this, these are certain questions that I think we can kind of ask ourselves. It is for the present day inquirer, for the modern day explorer. Is revenge personal choice or a social consequence?
Yes.
Can justice justify violence? Does society create the villains it fears? If it is creating, then what is the society's fear?
Yes.
How do narratives shape sympathy for dangerous people? Now, there's just a certain glimpse. You see, I was conducting a workshop in the school where I'm teaching right now. And in that theater exercise, you see this portion where this is written racism. This is something that has come from the children. They are coming up with something that they feel very strongly about.
Yeah.
And I was quite interested in knowing that what is racism in an IB school amongst MYP children.
Yeah.
Is it just a word that they have heard? They have definitely been sensitized towards it. What is the kind of discrimination that they are facing? So they have been kind of like working on this chart together. Now they are going to come up with a script and they'll come up with a performance. The whole idea is that they will not tell me, they will show me what racism means to them because it is their chosen topic.
Fantastic.
In another class,
so it's completely wordless, right? It's only action based.
yes, very much. It is. They have to do a piece of theater.
Okay.
With the concept, but before they do the performance, they need to be a script. So this is the first stage of that script. What is it that they are going to talk about in that script? So that is why the mind bubbles are there.
Okay.
There are 6 participants, which is why there are 6 thoughts. And each of them are going to pen their thoughts or going to draw their thoughts. And then they'll make a story out of that thinking.
Okay. So is it does it also involve personal experiences or their definition of racism? And like you said,
Absolutely.
in an IB classroom, it's a very different space where we have children
Yes.
from around the world coming together.
Exactly. And another thing that I have to admit here, I'm not sure whether we're going to censor this, but in an IB scenario, in an IB ecosystem, everyone is coming from a privileged class,
Absolutely.
Most students are coming from privileged classes. So then what is it that is kind of, like creating differences and discrimination?
I've also noticed like accents play a very important role in these classrooms.
Absolutely, very much.
And that's very interesting to see how some accents are considered more privileged or more polished than other accents, and how these friendship groups are formed inside the classroom. And some students are actually very sensitive about that.
Very true. And it is quite interesting to know that, like how one tries to come to resolution.
Yes.
When one is able to comprehend the conflict, how one tries to find the resolution. Amongst children, how do they resolve? You see, sometimes resolution amongst adults is very difficult.
Very different, exactly. Like, I'll tell you, my 8-year-old daughter can speak in 3 accents, and she can constantly shift her accents when she's speaking to different kinds of different people from different parts of the world. So she has the British, American, and the Indian English. And she would shift, like she would speak to me in the normal Indian accent, like Indian English, what we are speaking right now. And she would move into the American or the British based on her friendship group. So this is a kind of resolution that she has come up with. And it's very interesting, like you said, how would children come up with a resolution versus an adult?
This is something I'm going to learn from her, so this is accommodating. She has been able to accommodate the differences in languages.
Yes.
She's not expecting her peers or her friends to talk in her accent, but she's being adjusting enough to talk to different people in their tongue. So
Their
that's
own tongue.
commendable.
Yes.
And it has
And
been
that sense
organic
of
learning.
belonging. So she needs that sense of belonging in different groups. And accordingly, she will update or upgrade herself, that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now here there is a classroom where I was showing Sholay to them. Now these are new students who are studying film studies. So basically the whole purpose of film studies is to understand culture in cinema. And this is a particular snippet. Now these children, they have never seen Sholay. They have heard of Sholay. Obviously, the present class 11, 12 students.
Yes.
So in this scene, they were basically trying to understand diegetic, non-diegetic sound. And what was the examination was that why are all the henchmen, why Gabbar Singh's people are all clad in the way that they are clad? Where is that outfit coming from? What can one talk about the geographical features of that terrain, of that place, going by the outfit? How language, the uncouthness, the crudeness in the language, in the vocabulary, and even consumption of khaini for that matter, what is the cultural representation of that, and how is geography associated with that cultural representation?
Fantastic, yeah.
So this is something that the inquirer has to figure out, and we were having a discussion after this 10-minute snippet of kitne aadmi the, and the whole employment of silence when everybody is laughing and suddenly the gunshot is fired. One gets to hear the gunshots once the gun is fired. So how the cinematographer, how the filmmaker, the intention of the filmmaker and the sound recordist, all of them collaborate together to create that moment and to evoke that emotion. And this is just another snippet of young people who have met for the first time. How theatre kind of also plays an important tool in breaking the wall.
Breaking boundaries, yes.
Getting boundaries,
people together.
Walls.
Yeah.
Yes. And they have met just for the first time.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was just something that I had prepared up once you told me that I should have a presentation in case.
Okay, thank you so much. And
I thank you
I
so
have this
much.
one question that's coming to me again. Like, what first drew you towards these morally complex characters and these three characters that you've chosen, so well chosen from the fictional world and from the real life context, and the psychology of the antagonists? And do they play a part in your own theatre productions?
Oh, yes, always. So anytime that I do a play, I always want actors to understand subtext. The playwright or the text or the script has given us a text, but the subtext is something that we need to prepare. The minute you understand subtext or you prepare your own subtext, you need to understand the background or the backdrop or the environment in which the character has been growing. So when we come to the antagonist or the traditional hero, a lot is given to us. But when it comes to the antagonist, when it comes to the protagonist, a lot is given to us. But when it comes to the antagonist, the villain, we only get to see a certain surface. But to understand the villain, one needs to also understand the socio-political, economical, industrial, situational reasons that made these villains who they are. So to answer your question, that what drew me to these three particular characters, as an actor, Shylock has always impressed me because of Shylock's words. And I've always felt that let me probe a little deeper, because it's not just demanding the pound of flesh, but why Shylock demands that pound of flesh. Yes. Later on in life, Batman has become my character, my superhero. And in my TEDx talks also, I keep borrowing from Batman. But very interestingly, I've also tried to understand Batman's nemesis, strong, how much of a Superman is the Joker, that emotional superhero that Joker is. And Saddam Hussein is a character. So when we were growing up, I was in class 6. interested.
I lost your voice at Saddam Hussein. Can you say again?
Yeah, so I was saying that when I was growing up, I was in class 6 or class 7
Hmm.
when the Gulf War broke up, like
Yeah.
it broke out. And
Yeah.
I was very keen in understanding this character because a lot was being said about Saddam and about refusal of sharing oil and the American attacks.
Yeah.
And obviously, the media was painting a villain out of Saddam.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to understand Saddam a little more.
Hmm.
And over the years, I just felt a very organic connection between these three characters.
Yeah. And I
So
do
once I
remember
was,
when I was in grade 10, I guess we had The Merchant of Venice as a grade 10 text that was taught in school. And towards the end of it, somewhere I was feeling bad for Shylock. It was not a thing of justice, So you have that feeling throughout the text, the way he was victimized. Yeah, so next question, TC. What does this phrase, humanizing the antagonist, mean to you?
so I think it's quite relevant in today's time
Hmm.
because firstly, the definition of an antagonist, who are we considering to be an anti-hero? So therefore, then what is the expectation of a hero?
Yeah.
Once you have the expectation from a hero, then we kind of scan the anti-hero. Now, earlier what used to happen is there would just be He-Man versus Skeletor. So even the way Skeletor looks, the way Skeletor sounds, the visual impact of Skeletor, it all communicated something which is not very pleasant, not very pleasing. It always communicated something where you are antagonized by that very presence. So now over the years, there is, because one also needs to be, we were discussing about this, the entire element of compassion. So basically, one needs to understand that what makes Skeletor become Skeletor.
Hmm.
Earlier, if you look at the He-Man series, there has been no attempt in telling us that
The
what
narrative
makes.
behind him, of course, behind
Yes,
his
it is
region.
a Castle Grayskull. He's interested in power and he just wants to kind of come there. But why? What
Hmm.
is the reason? Now if you talk about Sholay, we had discussed Gabbar Singh. What made Gabbar Singh wipe out Thakur's entire family?
Yeah.
So these are certain elements. Now, today, when we are understanding Joker, we are also being able to understand that behind that anarchy, behind the madness, behind the chaos and commotion, the human being
Hmm.
who actually resolves to this exhibition. That is, this exhibition is Joker's expression. So,
Hmm.
what has resulted in this expression is the human element, which one needs to which one needs to empathize with,
Hmm.
so that we get Joker's point of view.
Yeah.
Because for today's practitioner, when I say practitioner, be it a theater practitioner, be an artist, be a learner, it is very important to resonate with the characters.
Yeah.
So the antagonist is also a character as much as the hero is.
Hmm.
So what makes the antagonist a villain is something that one needs to understand, that human graph and the human angle. So
Hmm.
therefore, humanizing the antagonist,
Yeah. And I remember you
understanding the
mentioning,
human.
yeah, I remember you mentioning that in a script, you get so much more information about the
Yeah.
protagonist versus the antagonist. Only a
Mm.
little bit of information that helps in supporting the highness of the protagonist is given, and the
Yes.
remaining is in the dark. So, how do you
Very
navigate
much.
that part in your classrooms? How do you find out what is not being told? How do you let the students ask these relevant questions?
So it is my responsibility as a facilitator to sensitize the student to ask these questions.
Hmm.
Like let the student come be the inquirer. So
Hmm.
it is inquiry based engagement,
Hmm.
that like to build in that curiosity. That curiosity is built when you do not dish out everything in a very spoon feeding manner.
Okay.
So therefore I always consider myself to be a facilitator.
Hmm.
Like, so I am facilitating a particular content and using my experience to spread out the content to its fullest.
Okay. To help
It
them
is not just
answer
one.
these, to help the students raise these questions, right? Or
Yes,
help them finding the answers, which what
very
approach
much.
is
Now,
yours?
that happens when there is no unidimensional approach to the content.
Hmm.
Suppose I form my own opinion.
Hmm.
I do not know how political can I get on this platform, but if I just come up with the present West Bengal elections,
Okay. Yes.
okay, now I will have my own perspective. If
Yes.
I am talking to a young learner, and
Hmm.
if I am only bombarding my perspective, it is being unfair as a facilitator.
Absolutely.
I need to give an overall picture
Hmm.
for the young learner to now become a further inquirer and then kind of come up with the own conclusion that the learner comes up with.
And
But
that
I
also
can't impose
starts,
that
yeah.
conclusion.
Yes, absolutely. And also that starts with maybe identifying your own bias and then acknowledging that and then putting forward the twos and the pros and cons and then letting your student navigate or choose the path or have their own argument, right?
What a impactful phrase that you just mentioned. See, I told you, like already your presence is spellbinding. Now, when you kind of use such phrases, I would rather just listen to you than say anything. Yes, absolutely. Identifying my bias. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength to admit my bias.
Hmm.
Once I'm able to identify my bias, then I'm even able to even tell the student perhaps, and that takes a lot of humility in a facilitator to tell the student that look, I'm coming with a biased
Hmm.
impression,
Hmm. And
because
all of
that is
this
how
bias, I also feel there's a beauty to all of that because the bias is basically formed from our lived experiences, right? Who we are,
completely
where we are coming from, again, how the society has kind of
shaped us
shaped us, all of that shapes it. So
very much.
it's always, even I'm very, I give these examples from my own life to the students so as to create these safe spaces in the classroom. So,
The minute you are able to make a life enriching by sharing your own experience, that can immediately means that you have got lifetime fans, which you have. So it's
okay.
like that is how students also are able to resonate and relate to the facilitator and the teacher concerned.
Hmm. And that gets me to this next question about how do you create these safe spaces? Because of course, like we've already lived through your classes, kind of talk about these delicate, sensitive topics, and there are these kind of polar, very different kind of perspectives coming in. You're encouraging the debate. So, how do you create that safe space in your classroom for the students to feel comfortable to share their point of view and not being
Absolutely
judged
essential
by others?
question over here.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I do. I know my mannerism does not advocate this, but I go very well prepared.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially when I'm working with young people,
Yeah.
impressionable minds, it's a matter of tremendous responsibility,
Hmm.
huge responsibility. And I'm always sensitive and conscious about this responsibility.
Hmm.
But my way of presenting myself and the way that I conduct myself and conduct the classes, I keep it
Hmm.
light-hearted, but at the same time, I am well prepared. So
Hmm.
I know the areas where, as you said, identifying my own bias is a part of my preparation.
Okay.
And then I have to be very, very careful that I don't impose either a belief or a thought.
Hmm.
And I keep it very, very conversation oriented. You see, today in classrooms, I am talking to the Instagram audience. I'm talking to the Chat GPT audience. They are audience for me. I'm a performer there.
Yeah.
I'm communicating with my audience over there.
Hmm.
Now I need to know for a fact. I need to be humble enough to know for a fact that whatever information that I'm giving, whatever knowledge that I think I'm imparting, ChatGPT can do that 101 times better
Yeah.
than me.
And they can also be challenged, right? The information that we are sharing.
Absolutely. And I'm always game to be challenged.
Yes.
Say, for instance, I'm talking about stage directions in classroom.
Hmm.
So when I'm discussing stage directions in the classroom, I also make my students go through that. I just don't verbally say it. I make it an experiential learning. So in the classroom, I come prepared with all possible questions. I do my homework thoroughly. I do not bank only on Google or ChatGPT for my answers, and most of my answers are something that that I've gathered over the years with experience. Age-wise, I am 46. For 25 years and more, I've been producing plays.
Please.
I think ever since I was in my mother's womb, I have been acting. And it's like, I'm not saying that I'm a great actor, but I've been doing this, So I have that many years of experience. So it is experiential learning that I am sharing. So yes, I come prepared in the class. I identify my own bias and I do not impose a conclusion. I let the child figure out the conclusion.
I noticed when you were explaining yourself, you used the word humor. So, what is the space, or how do you introduce that humor? Because it's a very powerful tool, very satirical tool. It's a very can be used in many ways. So, how do you navigate around that humor in your own classroom when you deal
I'm a
with?
very silly person.
Okay.
So I don't. The best thing that I've learned in acting is not to act, but to be myself. So I do the same thing in classroom. So humor comes very naturally, and I also, being extremely sensitive and concerned about it, I also make fun of the students. Not by making fun, as in I do not belittle anyone. I do not want to diminish anybody, but at the same time, I let people know that it is okay to make mistakes. It is absolutely fine to make mistakes. It is important to recognize a mistake as a mistake. And it is most important, it takes a lot of strength, a lot of courage to admit the mistake.
Yeah. And to laugh at your mistakes, or laugh at
Very much,
yourself.
yes.
That's one of the most challenging things, maybe.
Completely, yes.
Again, coming back to the antagonist, is understanding an antagonist the same as justifying their action? Or how would you navigate that?
See, justification is sometimes a machinery, it is a tool to justify the action of an antagonist. So I do not understand the antagonist only from the perspective of justifying the act. But like how I am understanding the protagonist, how I'm understanding situations, how I'm understanding economical and social and political conditions, I'm also understanding another character. So what is this character all about? What is the character's parentage like? Or what is the character's environment like? What are the biases that the character was growing up with? So that is one element to it, which is independent from the justification part. Justification comes as a mapping. If I am hellbound in wanting to justify an action, then there are certain excuses that even I can create. The justification, if it is there, it is there. If it is not there, it is not there.
So however, you are stating that you are in a third perspective, where you are just looking at the cause and the effect from a very neutral point of view, and then using justification as a thread to bind that, not as a
I will give you an example.
Right?
Yes, I will give you an example and tell you. So say for instance Thanos. In Avengers, we are examining Thanos. Now, understanding Thanos' purpose of wiping out half the population is not a justification. It so happens that in the narrative graph, it reflects as justification. In fact, I will not even once use the word this is to justify his action. That is a reading that this child himself will have. She herself will have. I am just telling what Thanos is all about, and it is my responsibility when I'm showing that Thanos has wiped out half the population. It is a very inhuman act on Thanos' part. That means he's just, people who are there, he's wiping them off. He's erasing. It's like not even mass murder. I don't know what this is. It takes genocide to a different level altogether. He has the power to wipe out half the population. Now he has gone through whatever he has gone through only to have that power. That means he's so passionate about his own ambition. What is that ambition? Why is he doing that? Does he want that entire world for himself? Is he wanting to be the only survivor in that entire space? No. He's wanting to maintain balance.
So, in a way,
So
you're emphasizing on the critical thinking around your characters.
yes, very much. Extremely important.
Hmm.
Just don't take something just because the Bible tells us so.
Yeah.
You know,
Or it's one of the 10
understand.
commandments there. Yes. Okay.
Right. Understand why is the Bible telling us what it is telling us,
Hmm. So, in
or
that
for that
space,
matter.
does empathy and critical thinking coexist?
Very good point. Yes, I'm going to think about it. What you're telling me right now. Of course, they do. It is to empathize. You need to be a critical thinker,
Hmm.
and because you are being a critical thinker, you are empathizing.
Hmm.
So it is a hand in glove situation between the two. They do coexist, and therefore now, after this conversation, what I'm going to tell myself is another layer to being a facilitator is to create that environment or to create that
Hmm.
safe and secure space for these two to come hand in glove.
Hmm. And especially when we're talking about these areas, how can what suggestions do you have, or how can educators introduce these ethical ambiguity in a age appropriate and meaningful ways? How would you do that?
I think first and foremost, we should all take a crash course in communication.
I definitely agree. Oh my God, yes. If you have
You know,
one, send me
because
the link. Okay.
no, I'll tell you why. Because language is changing in this fast evolving days. Language is changing. Today, the language is of audiovisual medium. The language has become extremely cinematic. I can't afford to remain PC anymore. I can't afford to just say that technology is not working for me, etc. So, to answer your question, I have to talk in the language of today's learners.
Yeah.
I cannot afford to bring in only my set pattern of thinking and of working if I have to communicate and resonate with today's learners. I
Hmm.
am contesting against Google search and ChatGPT. I have to be not only well informed, I have to have a certain spark in me to create that environment where I'm going to win the confidence of today's learners, which is not a matter of
No,
joke.
not
It is
absolutely.
not, it's
Yeah.
not a matter of joke.
Hmm.
It takes that effort. That means that I have to stop to a large extent. I will not cease to be myself, but
Hmm.
I cannot be rigid. I have to fight my own rigidity first. I have to be more elastic. I have to be more flexible. I have to fight against my own rigidity.
Hmm.
And as you very rightly said, very, very important element we might take away from our conversation here is recognizing my own bias.
Hmm.
Once I'm able to recognize my own bias, I'm going to defeat my own bias. So I cannot present myself in a classroom scenario with any kind of preconceived, pregnant notions.
Ideas, yes. And then coming back to the age, talking with every different age group in their own language,
Bingo.
mannerisms, and all their behavior ideas. Yes, yeah. And so, in your
Like you said,
experience, how do you see your students respond when when they're asked to empathize with these difficult or characters? Like I remember when we were in school, everyone wanted to become the king or the queen, but we would often land up to become the trees behind it. But yeah, apart from that, do you see some students passionate about playing the roles of the antagonists? Or how do they react when you give them that challenge of empathizing with those characters?
very surprisingly, I see the students are more interested in being the antagonist,
Okay, that's interesting.
especially boys. I've noticed this is a very gender issue. In fact,
Okay.
they always want to be the villain. There is a lot of craving to be the villain, also because of the way the villain is portrayed.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, yeah,
Is it
I
the
don't get it.
masculinity effect of it? Is it that for the
It
boys?
is a bit to do with the machismo of it, yes, I guess, because they perhaps feel that it is important to exhibit machismo, that,
Hmm.
like how macho I am. Everyone in that age feels that way. I call also something called the WWE effect. I'm a big hardcore WWE fan. So
Okay.
our wrestlers, they play a certain they create a certain impression in our minds. If you are aware of the wrestling lingo, there is a thing called being the heel.
Okay.
The heel is
Not aware of
basically
this.
the bad character, or so to speak, the good character, bad character. So um, you have John Cena, who is the baby face, as in he's the good character throughout. Only once he became the bad character. But
Okay.
then you also have Roman Reigns, who does not believe in being either baby face or the heel. So I'm just giving some examples in a
Yeah,
sense
some
like, yeah,
example. Yeah.
listening to all this will be able to immediately understand what I'm talking about,
And
So
connect to the younger audience who are seeing your podcast. Yes.
yes, this is actually for them. For all the WWE fans, I'm with you guys. I was an Undertaker fan and I'm a Roman Reigns fan. So therefore, to answer your question, I see young people, especially boys, wanting to kind of, like be the antagonist. They do not have any qualms about the character that they are playing. But when it's very interesting that you're saying this, when I say that, okay, choose your favorite superhero, nobody immediately says Joker or Thanos. They go
Yeah.
with the usual Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And after a few conversations, after a certain role playing and giving them certain situations, then I see that, like there is
They
one
change
out
their
of five.
mind. Yeah.
Yes, one
Okay.
out of five, 1 out of 10, they will be like, no, 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 but I want to do this.
Mm.
In fact, there is a workshop production that I do with young people, recognizing the superhero within. So the super evils that they fight against is globalization, racism. These are the kind of villains that they have to fight against, and how are they planning to fight against the villain? So one of the youngsters, they tell me that I am Lex Luthor. He finds Lex Luthor a lot more interesting than Superman because he really worships Lex Luthor's intelligence. He's saying that Lex Luthor is more intelligent than Batman and Superman put together. Why will I want to be anybody else but not Lex Luthor?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. That's an interesting take. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes, very much. So then I kind of talk to the person and I just try to see this is where I play an important role. And in fact I'm still navigating that. I'm still trying to understand. I wouldn't want this child to grow up always hero worshipping Lex Luthor.
Hmm.
Then I ask myself, why not?
Hmm.
I have my answers to myself.
Hmm.
But then then I will be lying to my own self if I say that I'm not being rigid.
Hmm.
I have my own answers. Why not Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
And then therefore, if you remember what Dashanan was all about, Dashanan was about a teacher and a student in conversation where the teacher is having an online class with the student and telling the student that you will have powers, like Ravan also had powers. What you do with your powers is what is going to impact the world. The student is telling the teacher that you are so good with computers, you're so good with the internet, you're so good with AI. Why are you still a student? Why aren't you becoming a bank hacker? Make millions with your knowledge. Why aren't you doing that? And then the teacher is telling the student about Ravan, who got blessed by Shiv. But what did he do with his powers?
Power. That is
So
what
consequence is a very
defines you.
important word.
Hmm. And
So Lex
yeah.
Luthor's consequences.
Hmm.
Sorry, I was just saying that consequence is a very important word. So when a person starts believing in a character like Lex Luthor, I just try to tell the person that what is the consequence of Lex Luthor's action on global existence? And then would you like to be that person? And then I leave it at that.
Just giving that seed of the Christian in the student's mind, and then it's up to them to take it forward. Yeah.
Very much.
In our classrooms, we constantly talk about, it's okay to make mistakes. And for example, I do exhibition of failed experiments, just so that students are okay, with making mistakes. So how do you feel that how can arts help students, or how can theater help students sit with this discomfort, the ambiguity, or these unanswered questions? When you've planted a seed into the minds, and they may not have the answers right away. So how do you help your students sit with that discomfort of failure, of not having answers, especially in these times of instant, answers and instant gratification.
I'm so glad you're asking me this. Anyone who's listening to this, please make a note and please share it with as many educators and school heads that you can. It is important for every single education institution that claims to be an education institution. Do not neglect arts.
I'm glad you.
Arts is not just arts anymore. Arts is imperative, it is integral. College admission, people responsible for college admissions, they may not understand this, and therefore they will guide the student to take a particular subject which will be relevant for college admissions. But arts is expression, arts is communication. Please do not neglect arts in IB in group 6, because that is the only subject where you need to be engaged with a process.
Yeah.
Mathematics, you get an answer, it is either right or wrong. History, you give an answer, it is either right or wrong.
Or it is perspective bias, We are always looking at history from someone's point of view.
Yes, there is already a set question, is already a set answer. You do not have that answer. It's like, for instance, in which year did India get its freedom? You cannot come with any other answer. You have to have one particular answer. You either have that or you don't have that. What is 2 into 2? There is only one particular answer. You either have that or you don't have that. There is no such norms associated with art.
Yeah. And you cannot be wrong, ideally.
There is no wrong.
There are some skill sets for each and every art department. That is something, the technique is different. But the thought process behind it, you cannot be wrong with it.
Absolutely. There is no right or wrong.
That's the beauty of art.
It is process where you are able to be your own critic.
Yeah.
And I always encourage students to be their own critical analyst. So to understand that in your critical analysis, how can you better something that you're doing?
I feel through arts practice, you just become a better person than what you were 5 years back. Because there are so many, these soft skills that arts teach you. The act of discipline, the act of failing every day, the act of persistence, not to give up, and the grit, and to keep improving. And we also know that there's nothing called the best artwork or the perfect artwork.
But the perfect artwork, yes.
Yeah, yes. So this entire journey as an artist, it just makes you a better person. The more
Absolutely. When you say that you get more disciplined, I don't even have to tell the child be disciplined. The child knows that to better the art, one has to be disciplined. And everything else that comes with the word discipline, that discipline does not become just another word in the dictionary, another fancy word. You have to imbibe it. Yes. You have to live it to be an artist. So every school should make it a point to try and ensure that the child is an artist as well. The child can be a gamer, can be a sports person, can be only into education.
A mathematician, a scientist, anybody. But you need to have the aesthetics of an artist, I feel.
Absolutely. And the word that you use, you become a better human being. If you will please allow me to just substitute the word better with the word evolved.
Yeah.
You become a more evolving person when you are engaged with arts.
That's true.
I am not saying that when you are engaged with mathematics, you're not evolving. I will not be biased towards arts against maths. But you see, with maths, what happens is that, let us face facts. We cannot go against facts. With maths, there is a certain parameter, there is a certain boundary. There is a cylinder, or there is a square, or there is a pentagon in which you are enclosed. With art, there is no boundary.
Yes. In fact, I would say that a mathematician, or a math student, if they understand the way of asking questions in the arts, they can actually stretch the boundaries of mathematics by asking why not.
Absolutely correct.
So,
very much.
It kind of limits, it breaks the shackles of the other subjects.
This is again something that schools should take up, not only IB schools, but all schools. This is something that I learned in these years. The IDU element, and to do proper respect to IDU.
That's one of the best things I love about IB.
Yes, I have learned most of it from you. So this no, I mean it. So it is this interdisciplinary unit, like how are you merging it?
Yeah.
And I've seen you do this with all subjects, so this is how you become such an admirable person that you are. Like
Now that comes as to gets me to this last round, a very quick rapid fire round. I'll give you a few questions, and within a few seconds, you'll have to answer that. Okay? Ready?
always.
Okay. One fictional antagonist you deeply empathize with, apart from
Joker.
these three. Okay. Okay.
Oh, but you already mentioned.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so apart from the three that I mentioned,
Yeah.
deeply Loki.
Oh, yes, absolutely. A film every educator should watch.
The Godfather.
Theater or cinema? I know
You
that's
got
a
me there.
tricky one.
Yeah. If I'm held at gunpoint and if I have to choose, then I say theater.
Okay. One word that defines meaningful education.
Empathy.
A classroom moment you will never forget.
My own classroom moment in my school days. It was it was a school moment. I think it has played a major role in making me who I am. I'm nothing. I'm nobody. But then a bit about whatever I've tried to do in life. That is to become the school captain. All my life, I wanted to become the school captain. And when the school captain's name was announced, and I got up thinking that it is going to be me, I was told by my friend, it is not me. So that completely shattered me. It almost broke me. But the entire process of wanting to become the school captain and what that process did to me is something that is going to be lifelong enriching process.
Okay, thank you. And the last question, a book that changed your perspective, or your perspective.
Number of
One
them,
book.
but I will say, I will have to say the Bible. The way the way the Bible has been taught to us without wanting to be religious at all, but in fact the Bible has lot of scope of being an inquirer completely.
Okay, that's
Especially the
interesting.
New Testament. The New Testament does not give any clear answers. It talks in parables. It makes you think what these sentences can actually mean. When you say that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, it is not literal. It is very impactful. It's not powerful. It builds in a lot of self-confidence. So a book that has made an important impact in my life is the Bible.
And you're also suggesting how to be an inquirer in that way, to read between the lines, to read beneath the lines, and to delve deeper, right?
Yes, very much, very much. You have to understand what the sentence stands for without just the literal words.
So that brings us to the end of this episode. We will continue our journey when we meet back home. And thank you so much once again for sharing such honest and beautiful experiences from your classroom.
Thank you so much. I had wonderful time, good fun. I'm glad that's finally being done. All the
Yeah.
initial hiccups that we had,
Yeah.
thanks to me. But thank you for considering me to be part of this. I sincerely welcome this. Thank you.
Today's discussion reminds us that education is not simply about delivering information or reinforcing binaries. It is about helping students to navigate the complexities in today's world, question the assumptions, recognize humanity, and critically engage with the stories that media is constantly telling us. For educators, this episode offers a powerful insight into how theatre, art, film, storytelling, and critical pedagogy can become a transformative tool for ethical inquiry and deeper understanding of the world around us. In a world increasingly shaped by polarization, these conversations feel so much necessary than ever. Thank you for listening to the Visible Studio. If this episode resonated with you, do share it with your fellow educators, artists, and filmmakers and storytellers. Together, let's continue making learning, inquiry, and human understanding valuable and visible. Stay tuned.